Welcome to the very first project in the Halloween Whimsy series. We are kicking it off with this Scarecrow. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my process of burning this Scarecrow from start to finish. So grab your burner, get your wood ready, and let's bring a little character to life. What you've seen me do here is tape down the pattern to my piece of wood with painter's tape to secure it in place. I'm taking my stylus and graphite paper to trace it onto my piece of wood. I like using the stylus. You can use a red pen if you like to trace it out. And I'm periodically lifting up the graphite paper to see that I've got everything. You want to be careful that you're not lifting it too hard, or you're moving your pattern and won't be able to realign it properly to start your wood burning. So I'm using a spare tip for this process. I'm outlining the face first before going into the hay of the scarecrow. So now I'm just gonna go squiggly, zigzaggy, scrappily, unevenly, if you will, filling in the hair of the scarecrow. If we think about hay bales and straw and anything like that, it's not very even. Pieces will stick out. And so that is what I'm aiming for in this process. You will see me use the eraser periodically to lighten the lines because I actually went a little too dark when I was tracing the pattern, and that can happen. So just have your eraser handy to lighten the lines so when it's done burning, you can't see them. And I'm using the same process with the hands and the feet for the straw that is sticking out off the scarecrow. Just kind of jaggedy, zigzaggy, uneven lines to give it that straw effect. Switching to the spoon shader, I am now lightly just going in circular motions to shade the hat. Sometimes you'll see me sort of drag it across a little bit. And the thing that I like to remember, my mentor taught me that is to use your shader like an airplane, sort of like a whoosh to move through it. And when you burn on the round edges, if you will, that works really, really well so that the edges are darker than the middle because you want to give it the shape of the object, in this case, the hat. So I'm just kind of lightly shading back and forth, doing some lines and also some circular motions to get the hat the way I would like it. Something that I want to just mention is to be patient with yourself and the art as it comes together. You might be looking at your art and going like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is going to be any good." Like in this particular section, I was like, "I don't know if this was a great idea," but you just have to stick with it. You have to continue with the process and see it finished. Quite often, I surprise myself with my own art, going, oh, that actually turned out really, really well. So just stick with it, especially if you're a beginner. Take your time, don't rush it. One heat stroke at a time, and you will get there. So here I am erasing some of the lines to make them less visible. I can still see them, you might not be able to. And then I am using circular motion to fill in the face. Thinking that scarecrows are made with linen bags of some kind, it doesn't necessarily have to be even, but again, you wanted to give it some shape. So a little darker under the hat because the shadow of the brim is showing up, and then just a little darker on the edges to give it sort of the shape effect of looking round, and a little lighter in the middle. Just circular motions with my shading spoon. Next, I worked on the scarf to give that some shape. I did some back and forth motion on the one part of the scarf, and then just kind of the same on the second part, but also making sure that I am including the shadow effect where the overlap is happening of the two pieces. And on the edges of the scarf being a little darker to, again, give it that shape to make it look round when it's completed. I started filling in the shirt with the spoon shader just burning, just going circular motions, maybe a little back and forth. There was no rhyme or reason. I just filled it in, and that can actually be also a really cool effect of movement or also giving it a pattern. If you wanted to, you could give it a plaid pattern using a spare tip to just kind of outline or detail the lines in from a plaid shirt, or just do like me, filling it in with a spoon shader to give it that sepia hue. I do have it a little lighter than the hay in some parts, so it's a little uneven, but I don't dislike it because it's a scarecrow, right? It's not necessarily meant to be perfect. Once I was done with the shirt, I started filling in the pants, and I simply just went darker. And that means going over the same spot multiple times, not just a little bit of time, but to the point where it does indeed show up just darker. That is layering at its finest. It's just going over and over the same spot until you achieve the tone that you're going for. And I wasn't too concerned about being too even in this process. Again, it's a scarecrow, it's in nature. Things aren't always even and they look differently. I did make the pocket a little lighter on this overalls to just show that there is a pocket. And then I started filling in the shoes, same, giving the outer edge a darker line and then filling it in a little lighter, giving it underline on the brim of the shoe. But other than that, just doing the same process of circular motion, filling it in with my wood burning tool. And then I went back with my spear tip to just work on some of the edges to refine them a little bit, adding the details, making sure that it is how I want it, that some of the edges are darker, some of the details are showing up a little bit more. And here is my finished version of the Scarecrow. This design is part of the Halloween Whimsy collection. The full pattern book drops in September if you prefer to collect them all at once. And if you're a member of the Pyrography Academy, this pattern and tutorial are available waiting for you inside the member hub. So just log in and get started wherever you are in your woodburning journey. I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tag me with your finished piece. I love to see your spooky little scarecrow come to life.